The world is grappling with a new wave of protectionism unleashed by the Trump administration. In a series of pronouncements, President Trump has imposed steep tariffs on goods from several countries, including key allies and rivals. The administration argues that these tariffs are necessary to protect American jobs and industries from unfair competition. They claim that decades of globalization have hollowed out American manufacturing and led to job losses. The tariffs are presented as a way to level the playing field and bring back American jobs. These tariffs, however, have sent shockwaves through the global economy. The move marks a significant escalation in trade tensions between the United States and its trading partners. It has raised fears of a global trade war, with potentially devastating consequences for the world economy. The tariffs have been met with a mix of condemnation and retaliation from countries around the world. The administration's aggressive trade policies have been met with criticism from economists and business leaders. They argue that tariffs are ultimately self-defeating, as they lead to higher prices for consumers and businesses and invite retaliation from other countries. The tariffs have also strained relations with key allies, who view them as an attack on the rules-based trading system. The world is now watching anxiously to see how this trade war will unfold. The immediate impact of the tariffs was felt in the global financial markets. Stock markets around the world tumbled as investors reacted to the news. The Dow Jones Industrial Average, a key indicator of the health of the U.S. stock market, plummeted by over 1,000 points in the days following the announcement of the tariffs. Other major stock indices, such as the S&P 500 and the Nasdaq Composite, also experienced significant declines. The sell-off in the stock market reflected growing fears about the impact of a trade war on the global economy. Businesses rely on global supply chains, and tariffs disrupt these chains, leading to higher costs and uncertainty. Investors were particularly concerned about the impact of the tariffs on multinational corporations, which generate a significant portion of their revenue from international sales. The technology sector, which is heavily reliant on global trade, was particularly hard hit, with shares of companies like Apple, Amazon, and Facebook all falling sharply. The tariffs also led to volatility in currency markets. The US dollar strengthened against other major currencies as investors sought refuge in the perceived safety of US assets. A stronger dollar makes US exports more expensive, which could further harm American businesses. The tariffs have also had a significant impact on commodity prices. The price of steel and aluminum, two of the metals targeted by the tariffs, surged as businesses anticipated shortages and higher costs. The international community has responded to the Trump administration's tariffs with a mix of defiance and apprehension. Major economies like China, the European Union, and Canada have all announced retaliatory tariffs on U.S. goods. These tariffs are strategically targeted at key American industries such as agriculture and manufacturing, in an effort to exert maximum economic and political pressure on the Trump administration. China, the world's second-largest economy and America's largest trading partner, has been particularly vocal in its opposition to the tariffs. The Chinese government has accused the United States of protectionism and violating international trade rules. Beijing has imposed retaliatory tariffs on billions of dollars worth of American goods, including soybeans, automobiles, and aircraft. The escalating trade war between the two economic giants threatens to disrupt global supply chains and dampen global economic growth. The European Union, a bloc of 27 countries, has also taken a firm stance against the U.S. tariffs. The EU has imposed retaliatory tariffs on a range of American products, including motorcycles, bourbon, and orange juice. European leaders have warned that the tariffs could damage the transatlantic relationship and undermine the rules-based international trading system. The EU has also filed a complaint against the United States at the World Trade Organization, challenging the legality of the tariffs. The economic and political fallout from the Trump administration's tariffs is still unfolding, but the early signs are troubling. The tariffs have already led to higher prices for consumers and businesses, and they threaten to disrupt global supply chains and dampen economic growth. The tariffs have also strained relations between the United States and its key allies, raising concerns about a breakdown in the rules-based international order. The tariffs have been particularly damaging to the agricultural sector, as China, Mexico, and Canada were major importers of American agricultural products. The tariffs have forced American farmers to find new markets for their products, often at lower prices. The tariffs have also hurt American manufacturers, who rely on imported raw materials and components. The tariffs have increased the cost of these inputs, making American manufactured goods less competitive in the global marketplace. The tariffs have also had a negative impact on consumer confidence. The uncertainty surrounding the trade war has made consumers more cautious about spending, which could further weaken the economy. The tariffs have also led to job losses in certain sectors as businesses have been forced to adjust to higher costs and reduced demand. The tariffs have also had a significant impact on the global political landscape. The Trump administration's aggressive trade policies have alienated many of America's closest allies. The tariffs have also emboldened China, which has positioned itself as a champion of free trade and a defender of the rules-based international order. The tariffs have created a climate of uncertainty and distrust in the global economy. It remains to be seen whether the Trump administration will be able to achieve its objectives through its confrontational approach to trade, or whether the tariffs will ultimately prove to be self-defeating. The world is watching closely as this high-stakes trade war unfolds.